Can this movie help redeem Will Smith's career? Let's check it out. Hello and welcome to another video here at Movie Mash, and today we're going to talk about Emancipation starring Will Smith. But before I carry on, hit the subscribe button just there, and if you don't mind, hit the like button too. It makes a difference to the channel. Thanks. So Emancipation starring Will Smith, Ben Foster, and directed by Antoinefuqua, who you may know who also directed Training Day and Equalizer. So synopsis, this is a true story based on a character called Peter. Now, I looked up, did I miss his second name, and I had to try and Google to try and find out this guy's second name, and he didn't have one, which kind of says a lot about the actual character, because it's based on a true story. The story goes, a man called Peter is taken from his family and he's brought to the worst, and I mean the worst, hellhole, macabre plantation I've ever seen in any movie. This thing looks like something out of nightmares, and he's brought there to, you know, do some heavy lifting work, be a slave. And in the meantime, all he wants to do is get back to his family, which is understandable, and he escapes. Now when he escapes, there's, you know, he doesn't escape like cleanly. There's a few little trouble, I won't go into detail, but he has to run through the swamps of Louisiana, which is pretty harrowing. And he has to go with we've got trackers like Ben Foster, who are really good at this, like what do you call them, the word is overseers. They're coming after him and they're hunting him down real heavily. I've seen movies where people will be chasing, but these guys, they're really good at their job and they're not going to stop till they have him. And he has to go with no food, no water, through the worst terrain of all times to get out and get back to his family. And all he has is the idea of getting back to his family and his faith in God. Just support, that's all he has. And he just keeps running. And I'm just going to say right now, this film was, it's hard to say that I like it, because, you know, I did really like it, but it is horrible. I mean, it is like, to believe this really happened in this day, I mean, like 2022, you know, obviously it's unheard of, but looking at stuff like this is a quick reminder of how humanity was and used to be, and this really happened. It's worse than any horror movie I've seen this year or ever. I mean, just to think this is real. Now, on the plus notes, let's just get to the positives. Right, so the positives. So Will Smith, the acting, really good. Now, Will Smith, I've liked Will Smith since he was Fresh Prince. I've always been a big fan of his. Now, I know he's had a bit of problems recently with a little slap at the Oscars there, but my opinion on that, and I'm not going to go into detail because it's a better review, but my opinion is, look, we all make mistakes. We all do. Just, it's all right to point the finger at people. Everyone who's watching this has done something stupid, really stupid, even though when they were doing it, it was stupid, and me more than normal. And you know what, you can't, I don't want to hold it over him. I will say that I don't think he's handled the apology great. I'm still kind of on his side. I still think that we all mess up, and don't judge him by just that moment in his life. What he done was terrible. I'm not agreeing. I'm just saying. Now, I don't want to go on about it too much, but he's been banned from the Oscars for 10 years. I don't know. I don't think that means he can't receive an Oscar. He just can't go to the Oscars. Now, could he be an Oscar contender for this? I would say it's possible, because look, Will Smith has proven to be a really good actor. He is a good actor. He's funny when he does comedy. He's a good action star. He's dramatic. Like you've seen, what's that one, Pursuit of Happiness and stuff like that. He is an all-round movie star and actor. He's a great. I really like him. I'm on team, as much as I am on Chris Rock's side, I am team Will as well. Now, there's another actor I want to bring up called Ben Foster. Now, you may see Ben Foster in movies over the years, but I'm going to say this, that I think he's a hugely underrated actor. He is so good. I know him from the X-Men movie, First Class, where he has the wings or whatever. But he's a really good actor, and I feel like he needs more movies than this. But you know what? I'm glad he's on it now. He plays the bad guy, and when he plays the bad guy, you notice he's really good at it, and he plays a bad guy. Now, he played a bad guy in 310 to Humor. If you've seen that, he's really good on that. Pandorum, he's on loads of good things, but this, I often say a movie's as good as the bad guy, and the bad guy was pretty good on this. Do you know, like I was scared for the Will Smith's character through the whole thing. I really was. I was scared for the whole thing. Now, the cinematography is a mixed bag for me, because the cinematography is great. Now, the film is in black and white, but not quite, right? So it feels like the film is not, it's like the film has been washed through bleach and water, where it's not 100% black and white. You can see grains of color here and there. You know, it looks like, you know, you can see Will Smith that he's black, and you now and again, and you can see fire, you can see blood. I don't know if it was just done. It's like the whole color was drained. And as much as I wanted to see how pretty and everything Louisiana was, I also felt like the color of what and the environment wasn't important. You know, he didn't see the environment. All he saw was, I need to get home. So I understand. I like what they've done there too. As much as I wanted to see all the colors, I like that too. When I say, like, all right, so let me just go into the negatives. So right, so I have two negatives, and they're more like nitpicks. So there's a side story, and I say that loosely, when it shows Will Smith's wife back home with the kids. Now, it shows a little thing going on with them at home. Throughout the film, you're watching Will Smith and Peter, I'll say, running through the swamps, trying to get away, surviving through all this. And then it jumps to his wife, and there's something going on with his wife and kids where they are at their plantation. And the problem is that it was so small that I couldn't even call it a subplot. Now, I feel like you either show us more of what's going on there, because I did find it quite interesting, or none at all, because it was so small. I felt like, what was the point? Like, because we already know she has it tough there. We know this already. So either show us more of what that was going on, or don't. Now, the pacing of this film, it's 2 hours and 5 minutes or something like that. The pacing of the film is really decent, because for a film of 2 hours, sometimes you can fatigue. Now, but I will say, for the last half an hour, the dynamic of the film changes and the pacing changes a little bit, slows down. Now, again, back to what I said about the wife, there's a new plot that comes in with the last half an hour of the film. And I feel like I wanted to see more of that, or not at all, because it felt like there was a whole new thing going on, and we have a half an hour to deal with all this. And I know it's towards the end, and I'm not knocking it at all. It's still really good. I'm just saying is I would like to have seen more of that, or maybe even extended the film to another half an hour maybe. I would like to have seen more of that, because I felt like this came in at the last half an hour at the end, and a lot was going on, and it was just too short. A bit like the wife did with that, you know, as a subplot was there with the wife. It wasn't even a subplot. This is just part of the story, and I know this is a true story, so this obviously really happened. And I just wanted to say, it's just, I feel like we needed more of that last half an hour, or even shortened it then, just to kind of wrap it up. But all in all, I'm going to say, like, that's the only negatives I have. And don't get me wrong, it's still really good, and the story, the last half an hour is really good. I just wanted to see more of that, since it's a new kind of plot, or more to the story. So I will say that this could be in me personally. Now, I haven't watched any reviews. I've just seen the film last night, yeah. And I would say personally, this would be in the top 5 best films of this year. Will Smith could be a contender for the Oscars, because, like, you know, I believed he was this character. This character, now, there was pictures taken of this character, Peter, and real life pictures of his scarred back, and it looks like something out of a horror film. It doesn't even look like this is possible to do to a person. A person's scarring could be this bad. I've never seen anything like this before. And maybe on Freddy Krueger, and that was make-believe and makeup. It was really bad, and I've seen the real picture, and it's horrible. Now, Will Smith playing this character, I believed it was Will Smith. I did believe it was. I believed he was Peter. I felt I was scared for him. I didn't see Will Smith running, I saw Peter running. And that's why I think it's a good contender, because he's a big movie star and all he's seeing is Will Smith. I saw Peter, and that made a difference to me. I also think Ben Foster could do with some kind of Oscar nomination at least. Anyway, I like him too. But all in all, this was a really, really good film, and I hate saying good in a situation like this, but it was a powerful film. It's not the most powerful film I've ever seen. You could compare it to 12 Years a Slave, which I think 12 Years a Slave may have been a bit better. But as I said, in general, this was a really good film, and it's a real good thing. But can this redeem Will Smith and his career? That's what I'm asking you guys, because people are hating on him. And again, like, I feel like we all make mistakes. I've said this all. And I think like he could do with just, look, you made your mistake. Let's get over it. Do this. I'm hoping this makes a difference for him. I hope this kind of brings him back in the limelight, you know. I mean, not in the, well, the limelight, he's already in it all the time. I'm just saying, but in everyone's good books, and forget about that little thing he did. You know, we all messed up. And I just want to know, what do you guys think? Have you seen this film? Do you think that he deserves another chance? Do you think that he should be forgotten about? Or do you think you're not going to watch this because of Will Smith's in it? Let me know in the comments below, and like and subscribe as normal. But for now, and until next time.